Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Thank you for tuning in. We are taking a look at Fantasy's Terran vs. Terran. Now I went through, kind of checked basically the MMR and who everyone was that he has played recently in the ladder, and even though he's added a lot of ladder games, this is the only other pro that he played. This is Noel. You might remember him, Wiko1127. We made a lot of fun of him for using a clan tag and a number because, yeah, the marketing of pros is probably the worst of anything ever in the history of Earth, of those Korean pros. Yeah. So anyways, he's Noel. He's a good harassment-based Terran, I would say. He plays kind of a fancy style. I don't really know how to add on to that. Like, the most memorable game that I've casted of him, well, he had a cool build in ASL, right, where he did, like, he waited for the mutas to be flying across the map, then dropped vultures in his opponent's space. I thought that was a really cool build. We had a game here on ArtosisCasts that he played on Retro where he was utilizing double dropship and the length of running around certain areas to abuse a Protoss player. I thought that was a really cool game. He's an interesting Terran. He's quite good, you know? So, yeah, we'll see how he does here. The problem, I guess, that we have is that we're on Fighting Spirit. And Fighting Spirit is a garbage map, as you guys know. I hate it. One of the best decisions of my life was to veto this map. And let me show you what's so terrible about it in Terran vs. Terran specifically. Well, I'm showing you. These bridges are too small. So every Terran vs. Terran here, or very close to every Terran vs. Terran here, will just turn into a battle to who can contain the other one on the bridge. Because if you get a siege line outside your opponent's bridge, you win 90% of the games from there. So just about every game turns into like 5 factory vulture versus 5 factory vulture, that type of thing, or some teched out build to avoid that. Like something with a wraith into, 5 fact or something, you cannot get contained on your bridge. It just causes a loss. The map is super turtleable. If you both manage to kind of hold center, sometimes we get center held, then the map just divides up pretty quickly. So it's not a great map. I avoid it in casting and playing and everything because you don't generally learn a lot. But let's see what Fantasy's got. I wanted to check out all 3 of his matchups. So yeah, hope it will become enjoyable. So yeah, anyways, this is Fantasy down here in the bottom left. He's going for a factory. It looks like he's trying to get as quickly and as an expansion up as quickly as he can. Notice that he's made just 1 Marine. And he took all off gas for a bit and just added another on. Over here, Noel actually only made 1 Marine as well. Interesting. It looks like they're just kind of optimizing towards getting the expansions down quicker and maybe the factories as well. It's much more standard to go 2 Marine, but if you scout each other quickly and you see that their Rax is their main base and everything, you can get away with 1 Marine, especially if you're planning something vulture-based. If you're planning for something like going for a siege tank quickly, then you really, really, really need that 2nd Marine. And if you don't scout them quickly, you need the 2nd Marine as well, just in case they're doing something a little bit cheeky. So Vulture comes out. Vulture comes out. Both of them going for 2 Vultures each, which, again, makes sense. The rush distance is very close on Fighting Spirit. This is kind of one of the big measurements, right? Like, of modern maps. Fighting Spirit was one of the early maps that actually got this correct on the rush distance. This is probably the shortest rush distance we have in maps that are played right now. Actually, I'm not going to go check that right at the second, but I believe that is probably true. Okay, 2nd factory as well as add-on. And Noel over here goes factory. Wait, did we get a 3rd? Yeah, 3rd factory. So 3 factories here for Fantasy. The Marine pushing that Rax back. And yeah, he's pulled 1 SCV off gas there too. He is going to need to afford vulture speed, but it's more about just hitting your production. So there's 2 factories. Oh, almost missed that. Yeah, so basically he went 3 vulture here against like 4 or against 2 vulture add-on. Good repair from Fantasy. Really good repair. Okay, so he holds it. But yeah, his SCV is just slightly lower, and another vulture comes down. Uh-oh, Fantasy actually in a ton of trouble. As this lightens up, I'll talk about it. So there's a lot of rock, paper, scissors in early game Terran versus Terran. Similar to early game Zerg vs. Zerg, honestly, but with a bigger economy and a little bit more flexibility for Terran. But the rock, paper, scissors is when you add the add-on. So the add-on takes 25 seconds. Vultures take 19 seconds. So if you're both making vultures and one guy makes an add-on, the other doesn't, the other makes another vulture, then sends them across the map, they'll get there before you get your add-on done plus another vulture out. So you can do things like make 4 against 3 or 3 against 2, and you do fantastically. Like, for instance, 4 is the big number for doing that because 4 vultures, 2 shots a vulture. So that's what we saw there, and that's why Noel already has a bit of an advantage. Now, both sides going 3 factory. Noel has a siege tank and just slightly less vultures, which is good for him. This is very Noel favored right now, and you can see he's up 9 SCVs as well. Fantasy targeting down vultures like he's doing pretty well, actually. I was kind of quiet there for a second. Runs up into the production. Kind of interesting that he chose to do it that way. But he's killed a really fair amount of vultures with his vultures. Now coming into the natural. This was the plan. Get in here and get some damage done to the SCVs as well. The siege tank comes back down and pushes that out. Noel maintains a 9 SCV advantage. Fantasy definitely in a little bit of trouble. He is getting mines, so that's something. 4th factory started for Noel. Noel, since he has more workers, we may see him just try to go for like real mass vulture, like no more tanks or anything, and just run over Fantasy. That actually is a completely fair thing to do. And as I mentioned before, this map degenerates into 5 factory versus 5 factory mass vulture all the time, just because it's only about controlling your own bridge and controlling your opponent's bridge. You can see Artie's put some mines up. He doesn't want that happening. 4th factory is on the way. 4th factory is on the way. The barracks of Fantasy is over these facts, so of course he sees exactly what's going on. Let's see, 10 vultures, 11 there, and 12 over here. So slight vulture advantage. One of the big pain points here is that Noel has a lot more SCVs. You can see he's having an easier time managing everything. Like, he's making his academy, he's making his armory. We don't see that from Fantasy. Like, he has to skip certain things. Right now, for him, it's all about getting as many vultures out as possible. And in fact, he's playing a little bit tricky. He's getting a starport. So let's get back over here. He tries to engage. He tries to lay a couple mines near that siege tank. You can see the siege tank actually took a lot of damage there. Tanked quite a bit. And that's one of the problems trying to engage vulture against a siege tank. And vulture. Okay, Noel looks like he's trying to catch these vultures since he has more out there. Fantasy going to try to get away through his 3rd base location. Actually brings up some more to try to fight on the other side since he took that high ground. That was kind of a clever move, but Noel still has a slight advantage here, so he should be able to still fight fine. He needs to focus fire a little bit better, though. It's really important to focus fire because 8 vultures one-shots a vulture. So, like, as soon as you start doing that correctly and your opponent doesn't, you can really make these engagements go in your favor. So there's the academy. He's making a wraith. Part of the problem, though, is the armory's already up. So, like, the wraith can fly over, but there's already 2 Goliaths on the way. Noel is very much in charge of this game. Everything looking much better for him. He goes 2nd add-on pretty quickly. Fantasy adds his 2nd add-on as well. Really still kind of sitting on pure vulture. He's really looking for his wraith to do something. This is actually a little trick you can do. See how he made 2 wraiths? If your opponent hasn't made armory and is just focusing on vultures, this can actually do enough damage that you end up winning the game because of it. That won't be the case here. He's going to fly in and do what he can because he sees that the 2 Goliaths are down here, and he definitely doesn't expect more than 2 Goliaths right now. But as he's attacked, you'll see a Goliath go back to deal with it. Noel right now getting siege mode as well as some more tanks. These Wraiths just getting done anything that they can at the moment. Comsat's coming up for Fantasy, who is down by 17 workers. You can see, by the way, like, how silly this map is, TVT, right? Like, you are seeing basically what I said. I guess they both went to 4 factory instead of 5. When this was more heavily played, 5 was more common, but it's whatever. It's like so much about just taking the bridges. All right, so Noel comes up. He sieges, which Fantasy does not have siege yet, and he's pushing Fantasy back. So that's going to be game right there. This is, like, I can't tell you how many TVTs I've played and seen that looked exactly like this from one side in TVT. It's like, yeah, I took your bridge. Haha, can you get out? Oh, you can't? Sick. And then the guy that's stuck will, like, do a couple drops and leave the game, basically. Maybe take this third, try to mass up and break out. It doesn't work well. It does not work well. It looks like he's trying to go in for a push. There is a counter drop going on. Targets down pretty well. Yeah, targeting down those siege tanks pretty quickly. The drop is going to get off, so that's kind of nice, but Noel just has so many more units here. Yeah, so this game is actually reminding me of the Terran vs. Zerg a little bit. You know, since Fantasy was really active, Terran vs. Terran has evolved some. We've learned a lot of things. And he didn't quite follow the fundamental plays that he needed to well. Wow, that Fantasy GG timing, man. Oh my. It is over. It is over. It's trying to break out of here, but it's just like impossible, basically. Bringing more units down. I don't know. It's like he didn't even do damage with the drop, so I'm not really. Well, it's Fantasy. That's, I guess I am sure of why he's doing it. Because this is just the way he does. He does as he does. Ugh. Trying so hard to hold on. Okay, this is actually dumb. Positions this bad are not worthwhile to spend time in, I think. You're just never going to win something like that. Okay, so fundamentally... Okay, so if you're both going vulture... If you're both going vulture, okay? Hold on. A little bit before this. Okay. So he went add-on quickly after 2 vultures. Now, first off, if you want to go add-on after 2 vultures, that's okay, and it can work. Generally, you will have 2 Marines with that. If you're going 3-fact vulture versus 3-fact vulture, the strongest thing you can do, and I can't tell you how many wins this gives me, is you make 4 vultures before an add-on. Because it forces your opponent to do the same. The 5th vulture, surprisingly, doesn't really matter that much. 4, like, really shape a battle so fast. You can kind of gimmick a hold with 4 against 5 with SCVs. But, like, look at this, okay? So they're equal on workers right now. Here come 3 vultures against 2. 3 3-shot a vulture, 4 2-shot a vulture. The Marine is even out of position here. 1, 2, 3. And then goes after this. Goes after those 2 SCVs. He actually, I mean, it got held better than it could have for sure. In fact, if he had waited for the 4, it would have gone even better because there's less reaction time to get your SCVs out. But you can see already a 4-worker advantage. Like, everything's going in his favor. This is, like, kind of a fundamental thing in TVT. The thing is, it gets tricky because, like, let's say that you go 4 vultures, but you mess up and they got a tank. Right? Like, maybe you're reading the position wrong. You go 4 vultures, but they go, like, vulture tank, or they go tank first. You're really far behind and you're going to be in trouble. But the same thing can happen here where you're making too few vultures against someone who's keeping their add-ons until later. So, yeah, some fundamental stuff that needs to be worked on for sure. I think Fantasy needs to play, like, just a ton of games and just get these little things down that are, like, kind of common knowledge on the ladder. right, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.